Now that you've got access to the dashboard and report you've been shared, we need to have a look at the navigation and how to find your way around and how to kind of get into it all. We have a second video that's about interactions and filtering and slicing, but before we get to that, we need to be able to find our way around. At the end of this, we'll compare the interface with an app, if that's how you're getting access to your data, and we'll find that they're very much the same. Very consistent user interface, which makes life easier for us, the user. So just to start off with, on the left here, we have our navigation pane, which gives us access to our favourites, our recent documents, apps, and things that have been shared with us. When you get a bit more advanced and you start using workspaces for collaboration, we'll get to that through the navigation pane as well. So what we need to do first with the navigation pane on the top left, we'll see this little set of 3 lines. Now when you see 3 lines like this, the informal name or colloquial name for this is a hamburger. So if we click the hamburger, that collapses our navigation pane if you need the room to see more content. Now I'm going to click the hamburger again because I'd like to bring the navigation pane back. So that's the hamburger, that's 3 lines. In other software, if you see 4 lines, that's cheeseburger, extra line for the cheese. So this is IT icons for healthy living. Back to what we need to do here is just another thing. If we need a bit of room, is we can go to the border between the navigation pane and our dashboard and adjust the distance there as well. Now, just exploring the grey ribbon across the top here, we've got our export tools, which we talk in a separate video about exporting to PowerPoint and PDF. So we've got our option here for sharing. If the report's owner has given you permission, you may be able to reshare, that is to share it with additional people. That's at their option, so that may or may not be available to you. We've got subscriptions, which we talk and demonstrate the mechanism of subscriptions to get your daily updates. That's there. Comments to ask questions. And this particular dashboard's already been favorited, which means I would see it over here. If I go to the navigation, there it is in my favorites. So that just takes us back. So you can click this little star at any point to favorite or unfavorite a dashboard. Beyond that, we have the 3 dots. The 3 dots, also looking for food-related names for these things, is apparently called the kebab. So we've got our 3 dots. What we need to know is that it's the overflow. This is where your less frequently used options go. Refresh is probably the thing here that's most important to us in the short term, is to, if the data has been refreshed, we want to refresh our view of the dashboard, we've got refresh there. Now, continuing along just a little bit further, I'm coming up to what is in my environment the title bar. It's a charcoal sort of a colour. If I click on the chevron there, I find some detail about the dashboard with the name of the dashboard and an email link here to the owner. In this case, it's actually owned by a group, a workspace, so we see that there as well. So that's additional information about the dashboard itself. If we wanted to contact, for example, using that link, we wanted to contact the people that own this particular report. The most significant thing, just popping back down onto the grey ribbon, at this level where we're reading and using reports, at the far end here we have full screen mode, and that will blow that up to full screen. If I press the escape key, it takes me back to seeing it within the browser. So again, if you need the extra room, don't be afraid to blow that up to full screen mode. So we've had a look at the dashboard. Now, what is a dashboard? So now we've seen the navigational environment, the key aspects of it. I mentioned earlier this was a dashboard. So what's a dashboard? A dashboard is selected visualizations brought together from one or more reports. So this is your big picture. You can scroll up and down through this and see this fairly easily. It also uses responsive design, which means the layout will adjust as your screen size adjusts as well. What we can do from here to get into the underlying report is I can actually click on one of these visualizations, and the one I have in front of me is a tree map. So we have a number of graphs that you would recognize from Excel. Excel can now do tree maps, and we also have a matrix, which is a little table here, and a couple of cards. So I'm going to click on a value that's of interest to me in the matrix, that is of interest to me in the tree map. And as I do that, it will take me to the underlying page where that visualization actually lives. This first page has a range of visualizations, including our tree map. It has some cards which show key values. It has some slices that gives us quick filtering tools. And it has some bookmarks that recall previously saved states. So both slices and bookmarks are something we're going to look at in some detail in a separate video. But just to give you the big picture at this stage, you might have noticed I was just working there with the filter pane as well, which allows us to do additional filtering of our data. Now, a little bit of navigation here. Down the left-hand side, I have margins. So this is another page in the report exploring margins across the different makes that we have, and looking at how much over retail are we actually bringing in with each sale, or how much under retail. So this is a matrix and some line graphs, and we have another slicer. If I go to the second matrix I've got here, this is a fairly simple report at this point, which is just showing me the amount over retail that our individual salespeople are bringing in. And another visualization from the many visualizations that are possible is our map visualization, where because we've got postcode and town and other data, we can actually plot our sales on the map. So this is a little bit of an overview. Also, another little thing you can try with any visualization is to hover over key values represented in the visualization, and it'll bring up a tooltip. The amount of information in the tooltip, your report designer can actually configure that for you. It's fairly easy to do. Come to one of our courses and you'll learn how. So what we've had a look at there is navigating through a report. Again, relatively new development here is we can adjust the width as well to give ourselves a bit more room. I'm on a smaller monitor here, so this is a handy facility. You'll notice we've got the same navigational options. They vary slightly between dashboards and reports as to what you're ultimately offered. You'll notice we've got export to PowerPoint and PDF, which we try those out in a separate video. And again, we've got our overflow options here as well. At this point, we've had a look at navigating around a shared dashboard and report. Thank you for your attention. In a separate video, we'll have a brief look at finding our way around an app, and you'll see by design some strong family resemblances, some strong consistency.
So give your skills an upgrade at Nexacu. It's where knowledge and skills come together for next level learning.